Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. As today, we cap our time in the Myconid village by visiting Spaw. Though, there are also a couple of other highlights I earmarked while I was taking care of the between-episode bookkeeping. We'll touch on those momentarily. But, yes, speaking of the between-episode bookkeeping, as implied last time around, I did indeed go and purchase various items from the assorted vendors. Some were immediately equipped, you can see them in our active loadout slots. But I did also purchase a few others with spell-like abilities, you know, the once-per-rest type of things, which I'm just keeping in reserve. No point in actually equipping those until we actively need them. And then I also picked up this. On Olithids, Volume 26. This tome is bound with deep growth leather, with the head of a mind flayer carved deep into the hide. Many curious scholars have noted the Olithids' disdain for arcane magic, yet do not understand the reasons behind it. In traditional Olithid circles, psionics are considered incontrovertible proof of our superior minds, and that which relies on study or bloodline is but a corruption of pure mental power. Yet were it so inferior, it would not be able to subvert an elder brain. I have proven that myself, and hope the Society of Brilliance will be able to spread this evidence to the contrary, far and wide. My people need not be slaves to the grand design, should they will it. Divine magic is a more complex matter. Some of our creeds advance the philosophies of gods like Ilsensine and Manzikorian, but that should not be taken as mindless worship. If anything, many of my brethren are jealous of these beings, and study their works in order to supplant them in the future. But to be a god's servant forever yielding, that goes against the tenets of every circle, no matter how liberal their creed. Interesting. So obviously, on its surface, just a fluff piece about Olithid society, but between that and what Amalum told us, it does actually give us some interesting speculation fodder, like the Olithids behind the Cult of the Absolute could also be rogue mind flayers, ones who are also gifted with arcane abilities, only to now use those abilities combined with their own natural psychic abilities to enact their own plots of world dominion or whatever it is they're trying to accomplish with this cult. Obviously pure speculation, but certainly something to keep in mind as we continue investigating. Anyway, let's start checking things off our to-do list, shall we? Starting with this particularly chatty piece of compost over here. Oh yes, and then that's obviously the explosive field I was deliberately avoiding.
After the light comes the bang. Step away. Step away.
Oh, nice, thank you. He actually warned us about the explosive fungus. There's also a corpse over in the corner there. I'll have to see if I can find my way to it a bit later, but as you can see, this is sort of a nexus point between all the different areas, pretty much all of which we visited at this point, so while we will clear the center, it's definitely a lower priority. Anyway, we have other things to focus on right now. Like this guy. What is going on here?
Fungus and mold glaze the servant's face and body. Through music and vision, the sovereign reveals its origins. You see a frothing duergar, axe drawn, crazed by bloodlust, bearing down on a young Myconid. A frightened Myconid circle conjures mildewed vines. They encircle and transform the duergar, It now belongs to the Circle. It will obey the Sovereign.
Oh my.
Those mushrooms can raise the dead. That's interesting.
They could barely hold staves, let alone greatswords. Raising warriors to fight for them. Ingenious.
Yeah, that does change the calculus here a bit.
The silent servant awaits its sovereign's orders.
Right.
Seek.
The corpse twitches in response to the spell and awaits your first question.
Oh, I hope that wasn't something important. Okay, so we know these guys don't seem to have individualized identities, and we know how he died. We just got a vision about that. So I guess we'll focus on these other three. Tell me, my weedy friend, what role did you play in this mushroom circle?
Like its living counterparts, the corpse speaks in your mind.
To grow. To know. To be one with the Circle.
I see. So tell me, what was that like?
Floating, knowing, seeing, hearing, all together, never apart.
Right? Collective life forms. I don't suppose you have any riches a surface dweller might be interested in?
Magic. Behind the door.
Ah, right. That must be the weird root door we passed earlier. Pray tell, how might one get past this door?
Old ones enter. Sovereign enters. No one else.
Oh, right, of course. Only sovereigns can open that door, so Sovereign Spaw or Sovereign Glut. Which does seem to imply it's essentially a reward chamber. Okay, so who are you in life?
A sprout.
Cool, thanks.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
So, aside from finding out how to get inside that chamber, mulch ado about nothing. I mean, we found out more about myconids, but I couldn't resist the wordplay. That said, let's go enjoy our spa day. Yep, there he is. Sovereign Spaw. And Thula. The boot bearer, no doubt. Also, a big old pile of corpses. That does raise some concerns.
Don't.
Her condition is familiar. Poison, derived from a wild weed common to the Underdark. She'll need an antidote soon, most likely held by the poisoner.
You've been poisoned. How did this happen?
Dwegar slashed me.
I see, and how did you end up here?
Myconids. Took pity on me. Sound lads, especially since the Greys gave them hell for it.
Paragons of hospitality, these Myconids. The druids in the grove could have learned a thing or two.
Thank you, Talking Shoulder. Let's see if we can save the antidote. Oh, we have a situational advantage. Maybe because we already have the antidote. Oh, my goodness. Double crit failure. Wow.
Dwergar society is shrouded in mystery. Nothing useful comes to mind.
Yeah, not off to a great start, but we've got this.
Gods! Whatever that is, I needed it. Why are you helping me?
I mean, I had the antidote in my pocket. I couldn't just walk by and leave you in pain.
No arguments there. Felt like a hook horror was sorting through my guts. But... that cure did the trick. Quick, sharp too. I thank you for your help, but I gotta get moving. Oh, Carl's garters. Oh, I don't have time for this. My kin need me.
Yeah, you still got stabbed. The antidote didn't cure that. Look, just relax. Tell me what you need. Maybe I can help.
Seems you're the helping kind. All right. I need you to rescue my kin. Not charity, mind. We can pay. We're Ironhand clan. Best artificers in Baldur's Gate. We were on an expedition down here when the Dwergar snatched us up. I got away, but not the others. The Greys have them digging out some old ruin across the lake.
Expedition, you say? What was your goal?
Just mining for materials. Nothing unusual. But our work pays well. Help my clan and we'll make it worth your while, I swear.
She's hiding something. Given the location, I'm gonna guess they were also looking for the adamantine forge. I'll do what I can.
Thank you. Only wish I could go with you. But here... I nabbed these boots from the Greys when I ran. I'll feel better knowing you're using them to kick some Dwergar ass. I'll mark where I made my escape, and wait here, I suppose. Not much choice, eh?
I mean, I could heal you, but I'm worried if I do, you'll just run off and get yourself killed. Oh, boots of speed. Yes, that is definitely something to hunt someone down and kill them over. Click heels. Click the heels of your boots to gain speed and freedom of movement. Your movement speed doubles, and enemies have disadvantage on opportunity attacks against you. Lasts for 1 turn. Bonus action to activate. No limit on use? Wow, that's incredibly useful. The only real thing holding it back is requiring the bonus action to activate it. Which does, unfortunately, limit it for someone like Lae'zel, who often has uses for her bonus actions. I guess we could toss it to Karlach. Her primary bonus action is shoving, and that tends to be pretty situational. Let me see what she's currently wearing.
I'd love to, thanks.
Oh, the Speedy Light Feet. Yeah, we can definitely dump those. I think we've used them like twice ever.
enough waiting. I crave blood.
No time to rest.
I'm coming along, just not fast enough. Any word on my people?
No, not in the 30 seconds since I last talked to you. But I did kill the Dwergar that were hunting you.
I'm almost sorry to hear it. I hope to have the pleasure myself. There's plenty more guarding my people, but I'd say you've made a fine start.
Yeah, about that. Any idea how long it'll take you to recover?
Don't know. Longer than I'd like, but a slow recovery's still a recovery.
Sure. I mean, in this world, it would normally just be a long rest, but there's no accounting for plot. Wow, yeah, she'd definitely get herself killed. She is not an adventurer.
What does that thing want with the corpses?
Hey, just because you're dead doesn't mean you don't have room for growth.
The Sovereign's thick fingers stroke the corpse at its feet. A droning melody greets you as the creature turns its gaze to you.
Flesh talker, I show you a memory. Watch and listen.
A violent vision grips you. Dwergar, dark dwarves chopping myconid remains.
They broke our peace. They killed our young.
The Sovereign's song slows to the pace of a dirge. It is still in mourning.
We laid waste to many, but intruders remain. Lakewood.
The Sovereign's song halts as it measures your worth.
I sense your resolve. You will find Dwergar invaders near Lake's edge. Cleanse the rot. Destroy them.
Let us spill blood. Dwergar or myconid, I care not which.
Thank you, Lae'zel. Very diplomatic in front of our myconid host. Tell me, Sovereign, what provoked this attack?
Deep purples swirl into familiar shapes. Gnomes in mining gear, chased by Dwergar.
The Dwergar seek a gnome. It is a guest.
You protected her despite the danger it brought upon you and your circle. That's quite laudable.
The Sovereign says nothing, but you hear appreciation in its song.
Just out of curiosity, what exactly are you doing with this pile of bodies?
We breathe life into our enemy's flesh. The dead make a fine host for my growing children.
If I die down here, destroy my corpse.
Don't worry. I wouldn't hesitate.
Aw, friendship. I'm glad to see you two finally getting along. And to be fair, most corpses are just glorified fertilizer once you plant them in the ground. Sentimental sediment. I wouldn't mind getting more practical use out of them. Might an aspiring Sporelock share in your secrets?
You may not. The spores hear only the circle. They dance to no other harmony.
Yeah, I figured. It does seem like it's probably a racial ability, and I'm a pretty Spore substitute for a myconid. But hey, totally killed those Dwergar for you. Actually ran into them on my way here, so, if you want more corpses, they're down by the beach.
The music shifts. still melancholic, but now streaked with hope.
Do you hear? A new harmony. Serenity. I name you Peace Bringer.
Fragrant spores waft through the air. Your heart swells with bliss with your every breath.
Freely you have given to us. Freely you may take. The Guardian Gate is open. Go and claim your reward. But before this, I have another boon to ask of you. You have cut out the Dwergar blight, but not its source.
In your mind's eye, Spore shows you a drow striding among Myconid dead.
That's a butt.
Near. This one is called. He hunted us. Hunt him in turn. Bring me his head, and I will know my circle is safe.
More busy work. That's royalty for you. Everyone's their servant.
Well, you said it yourself. I am the Peacebringer. I don't care how many people I have to kill to bring it. But you are asking us to kill an awful lot of people, and, I can clearly see what you're doing with them.
I ask a boon, and will give one in return. The drow lurks in the ruins beyond the lake. Bring him death, and return.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. Ooh, bliss spores. Plus 1d6 to pretty much all our rolls until our next rest. Very nice. Sadly, only on our main. And we cannot take freely. That's a bit disappointing. I was really hoping we could actually help ourselves to all the various ingredients and whatnot after he told us that.
Peacebringer, be at home.
Ooh, do the other Myconids have things to say now?
The circle lords you. Be welcome.
They do.
Swift as my feet can carry me.
Though based on that sample, it seems like it might just be pretty standard filler dialogue. And you know what? I've got to know what happens. Apologies in advance if this gives you a terminal case of stupid. And back on our feet. But not immediately running off. I'll take that as a good sign.
Ends not as bad as it could.
I'm coming along, just not fast enough. Any word on my people?
Wow, I am genuinely surprised they didn't account for that. I mean, to be fair, a lot of games wouldn't, but Larian has just raised my expectations, I suppose.
The Myconid greets you with pure sensation, sadness and joy intermingled.
If not over, then through.
Let's try talking to a few more.
The rot is cleansed.
How about you guys?
The song is steady. You are worthy. rot is cleansed. Breathe free.
Okay, so nothing of particular note, though I do appreciate that they went through the effort of giving them each unique lines, even if it is ultimately just filler dialogue. You know, it's something they really didn't have to do. They could have just as easily had them keep referring us to Sovereign Spaw as their spokesperson. Save themselves the trouble of recording, what, like 20 extra lines?
Balin, where are you?
What about this thing? Can we get another vision?
Fungus and mold glaze the grotesque creature's face and body. It doesn't seem to notice you.
Ah, fair enough. Alright, so what else are we doing here? We've obviously got this section to explore. And there's Balin, just past the susser tree. Okay. Oh, right. The sealed chamber with the pale corpse. Can we actually get in there now? Or do we have to finish off the Dwergar across the lake first? Oh, no. There we go.
Keeping the old turnip.
Let's see what we got. Chatty corpse. Plus a bunch of consumables and the Shadow of Menzoberranzan. And Shadow of Menzoberranzan grants invisibility, once per short rest for 2 turns. We'll add that to our growing arsenal of utility items. I might have to actually set up a new container for those. My main concern is that if I do that, I might forget that we're actually carrying them. You know, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, so this must be our 3rd Forge Seeker. Sargrim? The others were Filro and Dorn. And we've already found both of them. This is the guy who summoned the Spectator we fought earlier. The one that could petrify people, despite Spectators not actually being able to do that. But, you know, I'm not exactly going to pitch a fit they didn't throw a full-fledged Beholder at us. Though I do think we could have handled, like, a Lesser Basilisk or a Cockatrice. Those are both more or less in our challenge rating wheelhouse. Flump mating rituals. And icy metal. Specks of frost cover the hole on the bottom of this chunky piece of iron, where it was clearly screwed onto something. There's the 3rd part of our 3-part staff.
Flump mating rituals. An odd book for a drow to carry.
Is it? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they were into it, considering their entire concept is more or less based on fetish fuel. Morning Frost. Like the name. A +1 quarterstaff with Heart of Ice. When dealing cold damage, the wielder deals an additional +1 cold damage. And Insidious Cold. Dealing cold damage with a spell possibly inflicts chilled upon the target. Also grants Ray of Frost and inflicts an extra plus 1d4 cold in melee. That's not bad at all, though sadly not inside any of the metas we've really kind of set up for ourselves. Man, like if... Well, no, I guess there's not really enough cold-themed spells to coast off of with this thing, are there? Ice Storm, Cone of Cold, Ray of Frost. Chromatic Orb, I guess? Flumph Mating Rituals. The cover features an embossed image of two flumps with their tendrils entwined. Uh-huh. Ooh.
The cover proudly announces this book to be Flumph Mating Rituals.
I mean, might as well give it a look. You never know when you might run into a flump in the wild.
Mad supposition, questionable diagrams, and many gleeful references to tentacles. Not an overly academic text.
Hey, speak for yourself. I feel like I'm learning plenty. Though I suppose a closer look is warranted.
The scrutiny proves too much. The lurid text melts away before your eyes. An illusion. What remains are simple instructions written in a spare hand. The secret to forging adamantine.
Okay, well that is certainly something worth having. The pages, apparently copied from a master tome, describe the construction and use of a grand forge in the Underdark. Among the Sharans dwelled the gnome Siluv Yali, whose talents for wizardry were known from Candlekeep to Sorcerer. Under his tutelage, the Sharans built the Great Forge, which could heat mithril with such vigor as to turn it to adamantine. With this astonishing metal, they could mold the finest blades and armor. Yet the jewel of Yali's eye was not the forge itself, but the protector he conjured from the magma to guard it. A construct said to be so mighty that no blade could fell it, and no spell could pierce it. Instructions for operating the Great Forge are listed underneath. Ingredients: raw mithril ore and a proper mold. Place the ore and mold in their respective chambers. Pull the lever to lower the hammer and prepare the ore for smelting. Open the valve to allow lava into the crucible, and drop the hammer again to forge the product. Sounds simple enough, relatively speaking. Ah, and alas, we have lost our tome on things that go flump in the night. And in its place have gained Adamantine Spirit, which I suppose is a fair trade. Though I would actually love it if they have a flump in this game. I want this to be Chekhov's flump. Okay, so this is definitely Zargrim. Let's chat him up.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Hi, you're dead. Zargrim, I presume?
Zargrim, conjurer, seeker, battle with rival, summoned spectator.
I see. And why would you do that exactly?
Glory. We search for the adamantine forge.
And we already know who those two are, so... Hey, I found this really great book about flumps in your backpack. What's that about?
The secret to mastering the adamantine forge. Book disguised by magic.
Huh. Shoot, so we can't actually ask him how he got stuck in here. Feels like a bit of an oversight. So, who were your friends?
Finro, Dorn, each held knowledge none would share.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
I suppose we can make a pretty good educated guess on what happened, considering how entitled all three of these guys were. He likely stumbled in here after the battle with Dorn, sought refuge with the Myconids, and then abused their hospitality. And given how dangerous he was, rather than face him head on, they just sealed him in. Alright, let's move on. I think we've got time for one more thing. Oh, Glut. Maybe he's got something new for us.
So, Prancer, Sovereign Spore has sung your fate. You will cleanse the Dwergar rot. I will join you.
That's very kind of you, Glut, but rot's already been cleansed. I don't know if you heard, but we're the Peacebringer now. That peace done been brung.
I must see it for myself. Lead me to the rot. I wish to see it fester.
Okay. Sure. Right this way.
Remain in the Underdark, and I will follow. We cleanse the rot together.
Uh-huh. And there he is. Oh, he's an actual tag-along. That's fun.
Keeping the old turnip.
Sovereign Glut. Oof, definitely a bit of a brick. And while it doesn't specify it here, I imagine he also has the ability to raise corpses as fungal zombies. Yeah, given how bitter this guy is, I can't imagine this will end well, so you know what, we'd better call it here. I definitely want to see where this goes, but we just don't have time for a protracted fight right now. Which, let's be honest, is almost certainly where this is going. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping. And we will pick up here next time, as we deal with this glutton for punishment. And then, you know, bail out Balin. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Revenant, Alois, CrowkingLoR, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, Theory V23, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
Don't worry. I wouldn't hesitate.